Hi kids, do you ever feel afraid? Are you ever afraid of anything? Maybe even you've felt afraid about this coronavirus. You have questions about it. Sometimes we feel afraid in life, and sometimes that's because we're faced with a situation, we're faced with something that seems impossible, like it can't be done. We're going to hear just a little bit later today in our Bible story how Jesus' disciples were faced with something they thought was impossible. They've just seen that Jesus' tomb was empty. They heard that he was alive. It seemed impossible. They didn't know what to do, and it says that they were filled with fear. But Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you. Peace to you. Rest. Here I am." Sometimes we face things that seem impossible in life. I want to ask you, do you think that it's possible that I could walk through this sheet of paper? Could I somehow step right through it? It looks impossible, doesn't it? It looks impossible to do. But there is a way. There's a way to do it. And I'll show you that right now. But as we think about this, sometimes we're faced with situations that seem impossible. Like they just can't be done. Like we just can't face them. And Jesus reminds us that even in those times, in those situations where it seems like nothing good is going to happen, nothing good can come from it, that he's still with us. He never lets us go. And we're going to be reminded today that he says peace. He gives us his peace. He gives us his presence. Our Bible story says that Jesus came and he said peace to his followers, and then he opened the scriptures. He opened their minds so that they could understand everything that was said about him. He gave them the tools to deal with their fear. And then he sent them out. He said, "Go in my power, go in the knowledge that I am alive." And really that's the same thing that Jesus does for us today. Even in times and situations that seem impossible, like there's no way out, there's no hope in them. Jesus reminds us that he's with us. He gives us the tools. He's given us his word. He's given us his spirit to open our minds. And he sends us out to face the impossible. Remember that sheet of paper that you didn't think I could walk through? You didn't think I could step through? Well, using the tools, and I didn't do it right, did I? I skipped a step here. Using the tools that God gives us, his word and his spirit, he makes the impossible possible. He calms our fears. He says we don't have to worry, we don't have to be afraid. And he makes the possible possible. I skipped a step here. But again, those tools that he gives us, his spirit, his power, his presence, his word. He gives us each other, even though we're not together. He gives us each other. He makes the impossible possible. Suddenly that sheet of paper that you couldn't walk through, now it's still all one sheet of paper. It's all still connected. And stepped through it here, and I made it all the way through. God makes the impossible possible. He calms our fears. He says, "Peace, I'm with you." And he gives us the tools to face impossible situations with his hope, with his power.